So I had my tea, had some breakfast, and my brain feels less foggy and more clear. So what I want to talk about was I'm going to talk a little bit more about what I was explaining because I felt like my message was all over the place before, but I want to like talk about like this 3D world, right? So we know that we're living in a matrix. We know that we're living in a prison planet. If you haven't figured that out yet, do your research, learn about the Anunnaki, and start to go down that rabbit hole to find out what's actually going on in this 3D world. So let's say if you've accepted that you live in a matrix, that you're in a system that's been designed by either others to keep us enslaved, or is it something that's a product of creation that made the system so that our soul could evolve? It could be one or the other. So basically, this world could be either a prison planet created by the Anunnaki to keep us enslaved so that we can keep mining gold for them. That's one theory, right? We know for a fact that reincarnation exists. This is not our first lifetime. And the reason why we know that for a fact, and you haven't accepted it, it's a fact. Because kids, young kids, are recounting past lives that they've had no knowledge of. They didn't see this on TV. It's not something that they have access to, this type of knowledge. And they're giving descriptions of who they were, a different race, in a past life, right? They're telling you who they were, how they passed away, all of these things. And there's parents and authority figures that have gone in and went to these places where they claim that they were buried, and they find human remains in those areas. So it's proven based on first eyewitness accounts that children that wouldn't have access to the information are recounting past lives that existed hundreds of years ago, right? And so accept the past lives exist. Now, what else did I want to say? Sorry. And also, these children are having, I'm just going to hold my crystals and go back and forth because I use my hands a lot, so I kind of want to just hold my crystals. Anyways, so we know that past lives exist. And these children are able to do skills like play the piano off the bat, like do skills that you would need training, and they're not being trained on the piano. And they just can play a song, a tune, a melody on this piano. So that shows you that these kids' past life exists, right? So now, if we accept the past lives exist, we have to ask ourselves the question, why do past lives exist? It's because we're a soul having a human experience. And our soul is eternal, it cannot be destroyed, because our soul is energy, and energy cannot be created or destroyed. The energy that exists in the universe is the energy that exists in the universe, and nothing else can come into existence. However, energies can be morphed, and not morphed, but like changed into other things, right? Energy can be put into other things, but it can't be new energy that's created. However, what can be created is new souls can be created, but that's just energy being manipulated from one area to create that new soul. So I think for sure energy cannot be created or destroyed. That's why negative energy can't be just eliminated from this world. Negative energy, positive and negative, is always going to exist. However, that negative energy can be transmuted into positive energy if people choose to raise their vibration on an individual level. If negative energy exists in a person's soul, they can choose to raise that vibration by what I talked about, doing good deeds, shifting their perspective, healing their trauma, like all of these things. You can raise your vibration, right? To be magnetic and whatnot. And the thing is, we all have a soul signature. When we come into a planet, we have a soul signature. And that soul signature, the reason why people are born, like for me, I was always a happy kid. I was always a positive kid. I was always magnetic from young, and didn't let negative stuff bring me down when I was a kid. As I got older, to a degree, it brought me down, but I always seemed to bounce back, right? But it's because probably in past lifetimes, I've raised my energy, done healing work, healed others, and that's why when I come into this world, my soul signature doesn't change. I come in born as a high vibrational being because I was a high vibrational being in my past life. I healed all karma, I did all these things to keep my vibration high. So in the next life, if I continue down the path by not letting negativity drain me and become a negative person, then or let the pain of my trauma allow me to act in negative ways, which I haven't, then I'm going to continue to be a high vibrational person. And if I continue to work on positive mindset, shifting my mindset, taking care of myself, self-love, then I'm just going to get higher and higher in my vibration, which is what gives you access to access other dimensions, to access other realities, to shift your timeline, right? To get back on your abundant timeline. So the reason why I say, okay, so either this planet is created by, sorry, I'm trying to do these videos as much as I can, but every 2 seconds, of course, the kids have questions of something or telling me something, so I have to pause the video a lot to answer his questions that he has for me, because at the end of the day, I'm a mom and raising 2 kids, so I try to do it all. Like, I'm trying to record these videos, get the messages out, I'm trying to do tarot readings, I'm trying to spend time with them, I'm trying to go out into nature with them. Like, I'm trying to balance it all, and balance is something that, like, I really struggle with, but I'm trying to do my best with doing it alone, you know? Anyways, so what I was saying, let me pause because now I forgot what I was saying. Okay, hold on. So now it's just always asking more and more and more questions and leaning into your intuition, gathering more information to find out what the truth is. So now what I was saying, it's either that this is a prison planet created by the Anunnaki to keep us trapped and stuck in desire and stuck in materialistic things and working the rat race so that we don't tap into our soul's purpose and we don't get on a higher vibration to reach other dimensions, to tap into our powers and all of these things, right? So that's why they've probably turned off parts of our DNA and chromosomes and put this worshiping gene so that we worship them instead of worshiping ourselves. So the thing is, if the creator created this planet, then our DNA wouldn't have been turned off. The creator creates us, brings us into existence, we have our DNA, and I don't know exactly how DNA works, if our DNA changes based on our evolution of our vibration, or how DNA actually works. That's something that I need to research on, because like I said about past lives, I know past lives exist. So I'm not going to go and watch 100 videos of accounts of people having past life. I've watched a dozen or even more videos of past life to confirm that, yeah, okay, this makes sense, this is fact, so that it is ingrained in my belief system, that I've accepted it as fact based on the information that I've gathered, that it just aligns, right? But I'm not going to go and spend hours researching more videos on past lives to reaffirm what I already know is true, because that's just a waste of time, basically. There's so much information and there's so much work that we have to do to raise our vibration that we need to get more and more new information into our mind to be able, and especially for me, it's like I'm a mom with 2 kids, like I only have a limited amount of time to find truth information, take care of myself, take care of them, cook, do all these things that I have to get done, right? So it's like I'm really selective of what information I dive into now, because I don't have time to we don't know how much time, and also we don't know how much time we're giving on this planet, that it's like once you have that awakening, you want to do your best to raise your vibration and find out the truths of the world, because if you come back reincarnated on this planet again, your memories are going to be wiped and you're going to have to start all over and go through this journey and all of these things, right? But if you raise your vibration higher and higher, then I guess even if you come back on this planet, it gets easier because you have all these truths in your soul. I don't know. Or maybe you get to that place where you get to escape this planet, right? Okay, so now back to my point. Creation. So if creation created this planet, then we would be... creation created the planet Tiamat. This is what I think. Creation created the planet Tiamat, and then after, the Anunnaki created a dome that trapped us into something that looks like a planet, right? They've just taken things out of nature that exist on the real planet, seeds, right? Of trees, of fruits, of all these things, and put them onto this planet. Or they artificially engineered everything, or the sun too, or they artificially engineered a ball of light with advanced technology that allowed this body, because what we fail to grasp, I think, is that this body is a piece of meat. It's a meat suit, right? But it needs things to survive and to thrive. Just like a tree needs stuff to survive and thrive. It needs water, it needs sunlight, it requires things. But our soul, if it was outside of the body, it wouldn't need sunlight, it wouldn't need food, it wouldn't need any of these things. But this body requires something, so if the body...
Sorry, Mommy.
It's okay, baby.
Sorry, Mom.
So creation created this planet Tiamat. However, this dome, there's beings, souls that are more advanced than us, and they have all this advanced technology to create sun, to create planets, but not real planets, artificial planets, to create uh, things that look like stars. Like they're able to create all these artificial things, just like how they created this artificial body, just like how we're able to clone. Like human beings, our souls are able to do things and mimic that, but we're not on that advanced level as of yet. We can get to that level, but we're not on that advanced level as of yet. But it's probably ingrained in our soul, but they turned off our powers. So it's about tapping into our powers to get to that level. So that's why I say this artificial body requires food, water, all of these sunlight, nourishment in order for it to thrive and survive. And that's why we can't go a certain amount of time without eating food or drinking water, or else we would perish, right? So in this 3D world, this material world, there is materials that are required, minerals that are required in order for this body to survive, right? I've said it like 5 times now. But our soul doesn't need any of that to survive. But as we come into this human body, we need to work. That's why I say the most important thing is to, yes, do the things to nourish your body, right? Eat good foods, exercise, get sunlight. The artificial body requires that. That is not a lie. Like that is the truth, that this artificial body requires those things in order to survive, in order for your nervous system to be regulated. However, what your soul needs is time in meditation, time in silence, and researching and learning information, the truths of this world. So it's like you can't just spend all your time in meditation and hope that your intuition tells you what's going on. No, you actually have to research information, so you gain more knowledge into your soul, and then you take that knowledge, you spend time into meditation, and you start asking questions to yourself and to the creator and to everything, and you start praying about it to get the answers, so that your common sense, your mind starts working through it. So the remembrance, the memories that are already in your soul, the information that you've learned from past lives start coming up based on information that you learned. It triggers it. And then your mind starts putting puzzle pieces together based on other information that you've learned. So that's why meditation is so important, because it starts piecing puzzle pieces together. Whereas if you just soak in information, absorb, and you don't reflect, then that information just like leaves you, right? It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't become a belief system because you haven't put it together.